Paul, let's talk a little Mets baseball for a second. You said this morning on the Fan that if you were hitting left-handed, you'd be better off than the Mets catchers right now. Paul, how do you fix Travis d'Arnaud?
Everybody, you act like maybe I killed somebody on Twitter today. I said a couple of things. I was joking around, and then everybody's on the bandwagon. But you got to love it. Nobody wants to speak the truth about the Mets, but I'm the only one because I'm a Met fan. I heard a lot of people on Twitter said I'm bashing the Mets. I'm bashing the team that I love. So I don't know how you fix Travis d'Arnaud, to be honest with you. He's a kid that, to me, I always thought you needed 1,000 at-bats in the big leagues before you can make an assumption on somebody. So let him keep working it out a little bit. But you got to get consistent at-bats at the big league level if you're going to get better. That's the bottom line. And to me, my point on the Fan was that the Mets need to go back to square one, go back to their roots, go to younger players. If that means to trade David, that means to trade David. Listen, he's one of my better friends. I love the guy, but they built a ballpark that's not for him, and that's your franchise player. I thought that maybe they should have moved on with him a little bit and then went the pitching round. You got to understand, with Zach Wheeler and Matt Harvey, when they get healthy, they got the makings of a tremendous pitching staff and a tremendous bullpen. But I think they need to start back from the ground up instead of just concentrating on going 81 and 81 every year.
All right, now with that said, Paul, take the temperature if you can on the 2014 Mets. I mean, listening to your comments, is this a team that's kind of in a road to nowhere, stuck in the mud a little bit?
My issue is the last 2 years when you've gone to spring training, what's your expectations been?
You know what? I thought the Mets were going to be an 80-win team this year. 80-win team, is that fair?
And how long have you been a Met fan?
Well, I'm not a Met fan. I'm a broadcaster. And I thought they would be an 80-win team this year.
So how many times have you said that in the last 30 years?
I've said it pretty often in the last 30 years.
That's the problem that you have. It didn't matter in 2006 and 2007. 2006, we had a better team than the Yankees. And more times than not, the Yankees have had better teams than the Mets over the years. But you're still a backstage team, or a back page team. And the reality is the Mets are always second fiddle to the Yankees in this town. So you have to make a statement and grow from the ground up. If that means you lose 90 games, I get it. But then that's going to turn around. It always turns around. But if you let guys go out there at 38, 41, 42. Listen, in 2007, when I let go, I understood that. I wish I would have got a call, but I understand that. I was at the end of my career. It was time for me to move on. That's what they need to do. Set some trust in some kids in their minor league system. A lot of people are on Sandy Alderson saying he hasn't done much. Well, they're not putting the kids on the field. Let them try to grow in the big leagues. It used to happen in the 70s and 80s. They just don't do it anymore. To me, they just want to settle and be okay, and they're so scared of losing 100 games. What does it matter if you lose 80 or 100? You're still not getting in the playoffs.
All right, I want to go back 1 second on the race, Paul. You talked about how important it is to get a Triple Crown. What's the future of horse racing right now?
Well, that's a very good question. I mean, I think this horse will have a lot to do with it, but I think it's starting to trend back in the right direction. I think a lot of the authorities are trying to make the right decisions when it comes to drug laws and different laws throughout the state. You got to understand there's no commissioner here in horse racing, a little bit like boxing, so there's different rules and different sanctions as well. They need to clean that up and get together, and they're starting to do that. This horse is going to change a lot if it happens. This is a different story. This is a guy that was born in Brooklyn, and Art Sherman, who galloped a horse in swaps in 1955, 70-some-odd years old, and has got a chance with a rags to riches horses to win one of the toughest things to do in all of sports. Phenomenal story.
He's Paul Lo Duca, working for TVG, analyst for the races, and of course they've got a new app as well that is available on the iPhone and iTunes. Paul, we appreciate a few minutes.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.